Welcome to Lesson 6 to 0-Day, 10-Day and 90-Day Global Surgery from KS Medical Coding Academy. In this lesson, we'll focus on the Medicare Global Surgery Indicators 000, 010, and 090, understand their global periods, and learn how to count the days correctly. Our CPC focus is simple. Global indicator right pointing arrow global period right pointing arrow count the days right pointing arrow apply the rules right pointing arrow verify. Let's begin Captain Surgery CPC Exam Preparation 2026. Before we begin, let's review the objectives for Lesson 6 to 0-Day, 10-Day and 90-Day Global Surgery. We'll learn to identify the Medicare Global Indicators 000, 010, and 090, understand the different global periods, and correctly count the applicable preoperative and postoperative days. We'll also review included services, procedure day concepts, CPC scenarios, and common counting traps. Our CPC workflow is: global indicator right pointing arrow global period right pointing arrow count the days right pointing arrow apply the rules right pointing arrow verify. Remember, this lesson is for educational and CPC exam preparation purposes, with a focus on Medicare global surgery concepts. For 2026, always verify the current Captain Codebook, CMS guidance, and applicable payer policies. Let's begin Lesson 6. What is a global period? Now let's understand what a global period means. A global period is the time during which certain related surgical services are included in the Medicare payment for an applicable surgical procedure. Instead of treating every related postoperative service as a separate service, Medicare's global surgery rules bundle specified services into the payment for the procedure. The global indicator helps us determine whether a procedure has a global period, how long the postoperative period lasts, whether a preoperative period applies, and which related services may be included. The three key Medicare indicators are 000, 0 postoperative days, 010, 10 postoperative days, 090, 90 postoperative days. Here's an important CPC concept. A 090 global period includes one preoperative day, the procedure day, and 90 postoperative days. That's 92 calendar days in total. So don't fall into this trap. 90-day global means exactly 90 calendar days. Not necessarily. Remember, indicator right pointing arrow time period right pointing arrow services right pointing arrow coding rules. And the key rule is, first identify the global indicator, then determine the applicable period and count the days correctly. Now let's focus on the 000 global surgery indicator. The 000 indicator applies to certain Medicare procedures, including certain endoscopic and minor procedures. The important point is that 000 means 0 postoperative global days. There is no separate 10-day or 90-day postoperative period. The related global work is associated with the day of the procedure. Here's the CPC common trap. 000 means there is no global concept at all. That is incorrect. The 000 indicator is still a global surgery concept. It simply does not create an additional postoperative global period. For your CPC memory, think 000 equals procedure day only. So when you see 000, remember, no post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow procedure day right pointing arrow related global work right pointing arrow verify. And don't confuse 0 postoperative days with nothing being included. Always check the applicable Medicare rules and current Captain guidance before making a coding decision. Now let's focus on the 010 global surgery indicator. The 010 indicator applies to certain minor surgical procedures under Medicare. There are no separate preoperative global days, and the procedure day is included. The package has 10 postoperative days. Here's the important CPC counting rule. Procedure day plus 10 postoperative days equals 11 calendar days. For example, if the procedure is performed on Monday, Monday is day 0, Tuesday is postoperative day 1, Wednesday is day 2, and so on until postoperative day 10. So don't fall into this common trap. A 10-day global period contains only 10 calendar days. That's incorrect. The 10 refers to the postoperative days. The procedure day is also part of the global period. For your CPC memory, 010 equals 10 post-oxygen monophosphide days. Think. Minor procedure right pointing arrow 0 pre-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow procedure day plus 10 post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow 11 calendar days. Always verify the applicable Medicare and Captain rules before making the final coding decision. Now let's focus on the 090 Global Surgery Indicator. The 090 indicator applies to certain major surgical procedures under Medicare. The key difference is that the 090 global period includes 1 preoperative day, the procedure day, and 90 postoperative days. So the full period is 1 pre-op day plus procedure day plus 90 post-op days equals 92 calendar days. For example, if the major surgery is performed on Wednesday, Tuesday is the preoperative day, Wednesday is the procedure day, Thursday becomes postoperative day 1, and the postoperative period continues through day 90. Here's the CPC common trap. The 90-day global period starts 90 days after surgery. That's incorrect. The applicable period begins with the preoperative day immediately before the procedure, followed by the procedure day and the 90 postoperative days. Your CPC memory is 090 equals 90 post-oxygen monophosphide days, not 90 total calendar days. Think. Major procedure right pointing arrow 1 pre-oxygen monophosphide day right pointing arrow procedure day right pointing arrow 90 post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow 92 calendar days. For the CPC exam, always identify the global indicator first, count the applicable days carefully, and then apply the appropriate coding rules. 090 right pointing arrow major procedure right pointing arrow 92 calendar days right pointing arrow verify. Now let's learn how to count global days correctly. Start by identifying the global indicator. For 000, there are no preoperative or postoperative global days. The applicable global work is associated with the procedure day. For 010, there are 0 preoperative days, followed by the procedure day and 10 postoperative days. That gives us 11 calendar days in total. For 090, there is 1 preoperative day, the procedure day, and 90 postoperative days. That gives us 92 calendar days in total. Here's the common CPC trap. The number in the global indicator equals the total calendar days. That's incorrect. The number represents the postoperative period for 010 and 090. We must also account for the procedure day and, for 090, the applicable preoperative day. Your CPC memory is 000 right pointing arrow procedure day. 010 right pointing arrow 0 plus 10 equals 11 calendar days. 090 right pointing arrow 1 plus 1 plus 90 equals 92 calendar days. So follow this workflow. Identify indicator right pointing arrow mark procedure day right pointing arrow add pre-oxygen monophosphide if applicable right pointing arrow count post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow verify. Correct day counting is essential for avoiding global period coding errors on the CPC exam. Now let's understand what services are generally included during the Medicare global surgical period. For an applicable procedure, certain related services are included in the payment for the surgery. First is preoperative care, when the applicable global rules include the service. Second is intraoperative care, including the surgical procedure and routine services that are normally part of that procedure. Third is postoperative care, such as routine postoperative visits, recovery monitoring, wound evaluation, and postoperative management related to the surgery. Certain other related services may also be included under the applicable global surgery rules, such as postoperative pain management by the operating physician and treatment of certain complications that do not require a return to the operating room. Here's the CPC common trap. Every service provided during the global period is included. That's incorrect. The service must be evaluated based on what was performed, why it was performed, and whether an exception allows separate reporting. For example, a routine postoperative wound check related to the original procedure during A010 global period is generally included. Your CPC memory is related plus routine plus global period equals generally included. And remember the key rule: don't decide based only on the date. Identify the service and determine whether it is part of the global package. Always verify the current CPT, Medicare, NCCI, and payer-specific rules before coding. Now let's compare the 3 important Medicare global surgery indicators, 000, 010, and 090. First, 000 represents a 0-day global period. There are no separate preoperative or postoperative global days, and the applicable global work is associated with the procedure day. Next, 010 represents a 10-day postoperative period. There are no preoperative global days, and the procedure day plus 10 postoperative days gives us 11 calendar days. Finally, 090 represents a 90-day postoperative period. It includes 1 preoperative day, the procedure day, and 90 postoperative days, giving us 92 calendar days. Here's the common CPC trap. 000, 010, and 090 represent the total number of calendar days. That's incorrect. For 010 and 090, the number refers to the postoperative period, not the entire calendar day span. Your CPC memory is 000 right pointing arrow procedure day. 010 right pointing arrow 10 post-op right pointing arrow 11 calendar days. 090 right pointing arrow 90 post-op right pointing arrow 92 calendar days. Use this exam formula. Identify indicator right pointing arrow count pre-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow count procedure day right pointing arrow count post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow verify. Remember, know the indicator. Count the days. Apply the rules. Verify. This simple approach can help you avoid common global period counting errors on the CPC exam. Now let's look at an important 2026 special point. When you're solving a global surgery question, don't assume the global period simply from the type of procedure. First, identify the procedure and verify the current Medicare global indicator. The key indicators we've studied are 000, 0 postoperative days. 010, 10 postoperative days. 090, 90 postoperative days. But remember, not every surgical captain procedure uses 000, 010, or 090. Medicare also has other global indicators, including XXX, YYY, Zs, and M, and these have different meanings. Here's the CPC common trap. Every surgical captain code has a 000, 010, or 090 global period. That's incorrect. So use this workflow. Identify the code right pointing arrow, check the global indicator right pointing arrow, determine the period right pointing arrow, count the days right pointing arrow, apply the rules. Your 2026 memory rule is 000 equals 0 post-oxygen monophosphide days. 010 equals 10 post-oxygen monophosphide days. 090 equals 90 post-oxygen monophosphide days. But always verify the actual global indicator. For professional coding, use the current 2026 CPT code set, CMS Medicare guidance, MPFS data, NCCI policies, and applicable payer requirements. And remember the final takeaway: don't assume right pointing arrow, identify right pointing arrow, verify right pointing arrow APPLY. That completes the main teaching section of Lesson 6 to 0 day, 10 day and 90 day global surgery. Let's apply the 010 global period to a CPC scenario. A patient has a procedure on Monday, and the procedure has a 010 global indicator. The patient returns the following Monday for a routine postoperative visit related to the original procedure. Monday is day 0, so the following Monday is postoperative day 7. Because the visit is routine, related, and still within the 010 global period, it is generally included in the global package. Here's the common trap. The patient returned a week later, so the visit is separately billable. That's incorrect. Remember, 010 equals day 0 plus post-op days 1 through 10. So day 7 is still within the global period. For the CPC exam, use this workflow. Identify right pointing arrow, count right pointing arrow, check relatedness right pointing arrow, look for exceptions right pointing arrow verify. Final rule. Routine plus related plus within global period equals generally included. Let's summarize Lesson 6 to 0 day, 10 day and 90 day global surgery. For 000, remember, procedure day only, with 0 postoperative global days. For 010, remember, 10 postoperative days, plus the procedure day, giving 11 calendar days. For 090, remember, 1 preoperative day, the procedure day, and 90 postoperative days, giving 92 calendar days. Our CPC workflow is: identify the code right pointing arrow, check the global indicator right pointing arrow, mark the procedure day right pointing arrow, add pre-oxygen monophosphide if applicable right pointing arrow, count post-oxygen monophosphide days right pointing arrow, check if the service is included right pointing arrow, look for an exception right pointing arrow verify. Remember the 3 common traps. The indicator number does not automatically equal the total calendar days. Everything occurring during a global period is not automatically included. And never determine the global period from the procedure name alone. Verify the actual indicator. For 2026, use the current CPT, CMS Medicare, Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, NCCI, and payer guidance. Your final CPC rule is: don't assume right pointing arrow, identify right pointing arrow, count right pointing arrow, apply right pointing arrow, verify. And the one-line memory is 000 equals procedure day, 010 equals 10 post-op, 090 equals 90 post-op. Know the indicator, count the days, apply the rules, and verify. Lesson 6 is complete. Excellent work.